Today, our mission is to really dig into the August 2025 issue of Ulster Airmail. We want to pull out the most important nuggets, the surprising facts, basically give you the highlights.
We're covering a lot of ground, from the new head of the RAF to visitor awards, very specific, helicopter's life story, even some experiences out in Iraq.
Yeah, and some interesting connections, personal stories too. It's a packed issue. Right off the bat, Ulster Airmail hits us with some pretty major news. Air Marshal Harv Smith, who's a patron of the Ulster Aviation Society, he's just been appointed the new Chief of the Air Staff. That means he's taken charge of the entire Royal Air Force from August 29th, 2025. I mean, that's a huge step up, isn't it?
It's monumental. And the chairman of the UAS, it's the Ulster Aviation Society, he sent his most heartfelt congratulations. Seems there's a real belief he's a great leader and definitely the one for the job. And there's this great little anecdote from the editor that really brings him to life, I thought.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Well, the editor first met him back in September 2021. It was the Balmoral show, delayed because of COVID.
Okay.
And he finds Harv Smith just volunteering at the UAS display, manning the black Tucano fuselage.
Just like any other volunteer.
Exactly. The editor didn't realize who he was at first. They ended up chatting for about 20 minutes.
Wow.
All about flying Tucanos, Harriers, other fast jets. Imagine that. Just a casual chat with the future head of the RAF.
That's brilliant. And wasn't there something about a watch?
Ah, yes, the riddle. So during this chat, Harv Smith shows the editor his watch and asks, "What do you think is significant about it?"
Intriguing. Did the editor get it?
He did, after a few minutes thought, apparently. But the article doesn't reveal the answer. The editor playfully says you have to ask him in person at the hangars. I'm genuinely curious now.
Me too.
A good hook. Okay, so from the top brass, let's talk about the UAS community itself. They've had some really big successes lately.
Yeah, like the 2025 Armed Forces Day at Newtownards Airfield, described as, and I quote, "probably our best single-day event ever."
It says it drew about 45,000 people. And speaking of achievements, they got another
Traveler's Choice Award 2025. That's their 5th year in a row, isn't it?
which puts them in the top 10% of visitor attractions in the world, according to TripAdvisor anyway.
Which is just astonishing. And it comes down to the volunteers, particularly the tour guides.
Yeah, the article really praises them, mentions the huge variety of visitors they handle.
Everything from, families, enthusiasts from Europe, church groups, kids' summer schools, people with visual impairments, learning difficulties.
That adaptability must be crucial. Huge congratulations to them.
Definitely. And they're not standing still. New arrivals, too.
Right, the Sea King XV701. Arrived July 15th. We'll get into his full story later. It deserves its own focus.
And they're expecting more.
Yeah, hoping for a chipmunk trainer from the RAF Museum at Hendon.
Oh, nice.
And a short SB.5 jet from Cosford. And the big dream is ferry Swordfish after that.
A swordfish would be incredible, but there's a slight snag with getting things moved around, isn't there?
Ah, yes, the saga of the hangar doors for Hangar 1. Sounds like they're almost done, 99% finished. But they're waiting on a weather seal strip, a small part holding everything up.
Means they can't move aircraft in or out, including that new Sea King.
It's stuck outside for now. Hopefully resolved soon.
Let's hope so. And looking ahead, they've got the European Heritage Open Days.
September 13th and 14th. Expecting big numbers again.
Potentially 10,000 visitors, up from 7,000 last year, which was already a record.
Yeah, it's a huge event for them, which leads to the call for volunteers.
Especially for the car parks, it seems. That's where the visitor experience begins.
It makes sense. It's framed as a key chance for the UAS to welcome potentially thousands of new friends and supporters. A great opportunity if you're local and want to help out.
Good point. Okay, should we dive into that Sea King XV701?
This aircraft has quite a history. But first, a bit of context on helicopters in the British forces.
It started pretty early, actually, during World War II with Sikorsky hoverflies.
Under Lend-Lease, 1943-44. Just a few to begin with.
Then Westland Aircraft got involved, building the Sikorsky S-51 under license. They called it the Dragonfly HR Boyd 1.
And that led to 705 Naval Air Squadron, 705 NES, in 1950. Possibly the first dedicated helicopter squadron outside the U.S.
Which is quite a claim to fame. And they quickly found vital roles for them.
Like the plane guard duty.
In 1951, a Dragonfly started doing that job from HMS Indomitable, rescuing ditched aircrew.
Replacing destroyers or even walrus amphibians, that's a big shift in naval aviation.
Faster response, more efficient. So the Sea King fits into this lineage. The UK needed a replacement for the Wessex, something powerful, long-range, carrying weapons.
So in 1966, they agreed to build an anglicized Sea King. Different engines, Rolls-Royce Gnomes. tailored for UK needs.
And XB701 was one of the first batch-ordered, 56 of them. It first flew in May 1971.
And as the initial HAS.1 standard, he was packed with tech for the time.
Echo Blue Orchid search radar, Plessy dipping sonar could go down 75 meters.
An advanced fight control system for hovering in rough weather at night.
Crucial for anti-submarine warfare, ASW, and 4 weapon stations. Could even carry a W-177 nuclear depth bomb.
Shows how serious its role was, and they demonstrated its capability early on.
That non-stop flight, May 1970, LTC Dr. Vic Surratt.
Lands and Jonagroads. Over 600 nautical miles.
In 4 hours, 20 minutes. That really proved the Sea King's endurance.
So XB701 enters service, on and off HMS Ark Royal.
Trips to the U.S., Mediterranean operations. It probably even featured in that BBC documentary Sailor from '76.
Then came its first big upgrade, March 77, to HA-SAT-2 standard.
You could spot the changes, that Barkstor intake screen and extra blade on the tail rotor.
Plus internal stuff, new transmission, better sonar, keeping it effective.
But then disaster struck. February 1979.
The ditching incident. It's with a training unit.
Yeah, during training, the tail rotor gearbox failed completely.
Spun out of control, ditched, and sank.
Thankfully, all 7 crew were rescued. Amazing outcome in that situation.
Absolutely, but the helicopter, gone. And the repairs took 6 years.
6 years, which meant significantly it played no part in the Falklands conflict in 1982.
It finally came back in April 1985, but as a HAS.5, a major upgrade.
A really big jump. New radar, the MEL Super Searcher, twice the range, passive sonar capability.
And that bigger radome on top, much more capable for ASW.
It then went to 819 NAS at Prestwick. Busy roll up there.
Supporting nuclear subs, search and rescue over the Scottish west coast, sea and mountains.
But its troubles weren't quite over, were they?
No, more bad luck. 1986, an airframe crack, and then a fire during transport.
A trailer fire, caused by locked brakes, burned a large hole in the rear fuselage.
You couldn't make it up. But it returned to service again, May 1987. Resilient thing.
Truly. Then the final major update, HAS.6 standard. New paint job, light gray.
And more performance upgrades, those composite BERP rotor blades.
Better lift, more efficient, plus a much longer sonar cable, 213 meters now. Updated avionic.
All adding up to 30 minutes more time on task per mission. Significant improvement.
In March 1990, it joined 820 DAS, nicknamed Starbugs 2.
And deployed with Ark Royal to the Eastern Med for what became the first Gulf War.
Though, as historian David Hobbs points out, Ark Royal acted mainly as a command ship. Political indecision meant the carriers didn't directly join the fight.
Still, XV701 was there, later served on HMS Illustrious, then with 814 on HMS Invincible.
Where it got another nickname, Lulabelle. Saw more ops in the Persian Gulf, working alongside the USS Enterprise.
An incredible service life. It was finally withdrawn end of 2000.
As the Merlins, the HM1s, came in to take over the ASW role.
XB701 went into storage, used for ground training, before eventually being offered to collections like UAS.
And other Sea King variants kept flying until 2018 Commando AEW SAR roles.
Making it potentially one of, if not the longest, serving aircraft types to have served with the Royal Navy.
That's quite a legacy. What does its story tell you? Maybe it's about engineering resilience, or maybe how aircraft evolve with changing needs, and yeah, sometimes just sheer bad luck followed by repair.
It really is a saga. And the author of the article has a personal link, too. Saw his first Sea King in the 70s, later worked with HAS.5s on Invincible.
Adds a nice personal touch. So how did this actually get to the UAS hangars recently?
It was quite the logistical exercise. Started July 12th, overnight ferry to Birkenhead, but then hit a snag. Broken trailer hitch. Delayed them getting to HMS Sultan by 2 hours.
Always something. But the disassembly at Sultan went smoothly.
Yeah, with help from Sultan's engineers and a crane, lifted it up, took off the sponsons, the tail wheel.
All loaded onto a low loader and a van trailer. Careful work.
Then a smooth drive back north via the M6 toll, and reassembly at Maze Long Cache was quick, about an hour.
Impressive. Just a shame about those hangar doors keeping it outside for now.
Hopefully not for long. But it shows the sheer amount of activity there.
While dealing with the Sea King arrival, they were also working on the Gannet's markings, the Meteor's elevators, the Sea Prince's paintwork.
The Tucano Enniskillen is finished. The Matador truck got its crane back, a new storeroom. Okay, let's shift gears now. From specific aircraft histories to broader adventures and personal stories.
Like Paul Young's experience in Iraq.
He became an international police advisor, an IPA, back in 2005, after retiring from the RUCPSNI, looking for a new challenge.
And his journey started with a flight on a TriStar.
A Lockheed L-10-11-500 from Breeze Norton to Basra. He mentioned the comfy rear-facing seats.
And the landing. Anti-flak corkscrew maneuvers gives you a real sense of the environment.
Definitely. I was really struck by the helicopters out there.
Especially the Merlin, one of the first deployed abroad, he noted, impressed by the rear ramp and the X-belts.
The main base helipad, Camp Abu Naji, sounded incredibly busy.
Lynx, Blackhawks, Sea Knights, and the Special Forces Chinooks, which were his main ride around the area. What a place to see rotary aviation in action.
From that operational intensity, let's turn to Tony Smith's Rummaging Through Air Part 7, a more reflective piece.
Starts humorously, doesn't it? He has to do chores, washing up, ironing before he can start rummaging.
Dedication, he shares a family link to. His father flew Lysanders with the 116 Squadron during the war. Anti-aircraft calibration.
And he highlights the Dakota's versatility.
Yeah, seeing one spraying detergent on North Sea oil slicks filled with tanks.
Amazing. And he flew in Dakotas himself before they were replaced by Dark Heralds. He saw that change happen.
Then he throws out a puzzle about B-17 markings at Duxford. He's seen some he can't identify with Sally B.
Right, asking for listener input. Mentions B-17s were based in Ulster, a nice local connection and a challenge for enthusiasts.
He also touches on Air Cadet gliding. Winch-launched Vikings, self-launching Vigilance. Fond memories there, I think.
And a funny detail, 72 Squadron's line dancing team posing with their Wessex Sunshine XR525, now in a museum.
You have to love details like that. And he notes an 819 NAS Sea King visiting a cadet exercise in '97.
Significant because it was the squadron's first time back at that location in Skip since 1943. History looping back.
He ends on a more somber note, though, reflecting on attending cadet weddings in the past.
Which have now, sadly, turned into attending funerals.
It's poignant, isn't it? Really underscores the lifelong bonds formed through things like the Air Cadets. These aren't just activities, they shape lives, mark time.
Moving on, there was also a joint exercise mentioned.
Search and Rescue Dog Association, Ireland North, SARDA, training with the Coast Guard.
HM Coast Guard Search and Rescue 199 from Prestwick happened at Ards Airfield in early July.
Crucial training for the dogs and handlers, getting used to aircraft noise, downdraft, boarding procedures.
Shows that important partnership between different rescue organizations.
Okay, now for something completely different, aviation spotting.
Colin Boyd's trip to Luke Air Force Base, Arizona, March 2025. Sounds like spotter heaven.
Over 100 movements in a day, mostly F-35A Lightning II.
From loads of different countries, US, Italy, Norway, Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark. Some with colored roundels, which he liked.
And he noticed different landing techniques, some coming in really steeply before flaring.
He guessed it might be practice for loss of power scenarios.
But the really interesting bit was the Red Air, the aggressors.
Yeah, civilian contractors flying military jets, top aces with ex-Israeli F-16s.
The only civilian-operated F-16s in the world, apparently.
And ATAC flying ex-French Mirage F-1s, acting as the bad guys for the F-35s to train against.
Okay, finally, let's touch on some really personal connections to aviation highlighted in the magazine.
Arthur McMurray's visit to the UAS collection, for instance, very positive feedback.
Praise the volunteers. Seems like everyone has a good experience there.
And his son-in-law knew XW222 Trembling 222.
Knew its reputation for a bouncy ride, but also its serious work rescuing people from floods in Mozambique.
And McMurray had his own helicopter experience.
As an emergency planning officer, he was part of an exercise, Buford's Dyke.
Involved winching paramedics onto a naval patrol vessel, and he decided to give it a go himself.
Called it an amazing experience. Fair play to him.
And then the surprise discovery about his own writing.
Finding his recollections of the Princess Victoria disaster and the Nuts Corner crash, based on first-hand accounts using the Nuts Corner book.
Shows how valuable those personal memories are for documenting history. They really matter.
Absolutely. And lastly, Alan Whitfield's story about the Sea Prince.
A real passion project for him stems from his time as a Navy apprentice in Malta, 1962.
Worked on them with 750 Squadron, even got to fly up front on test flights.
He went on to work with helicopters, Whirlwinds, Wessexes, Wasps, S-61Ns.
But he says he has that particular attachment to the first squadron and aircraft. That often happens, doesn't it?
And he was delighted to see the specific Sea Prince he knew, WF-122, being restored by UAS.
He'd seen it before in a pretty sorry state, so he's been following the restoration closely.
Praises the team's work so far, confident they'll finish the job. It must be incredibly rewarding for the volunteers to get feedback like that.
What a fantastic collection of stories.
Covers the spectrum, doesn't it?
It really does. So we've journeyed from the highest levels of the RAF with Air Marshal Smith through the incredible life, death, and rebirth of Sea King XV-701.
We've heard about operational experiences in Iraq, The dedicated work at the UAS hangars, the passion of spotters and restorers.
And those deeply personal connections people forge with aviation throughout their lives. It's clear the Ulster Airmail captured a really rich slice of the aviation world.
And if listening to this has sparked your interest in what the Ulster Aviation Society does, and maybe you're not a member yet,
Then definitely consider joining them. You can find all the information on the membership page of their website. That's ulsteraviationsociety.org.
we hope you'll join us again next month for another deep dive into fascinating stories from the world of aviation.